Wales are champions of the Six Nations, and I thought it'd be really interesting to look back at the campaign and look at every player who played a part in the tournament for Wales as they won it, of course, in dramatic style. So let's make a tier list. We're going to have a look and see which players fit into which category. Let me show you the categories for the tier list. So here are the categories for the tier list. As you can see at the top, we have world class. They were integral to the team. They were absolutely pivotal to us winning the tournament. You then got great campaign. They've had a really good campaign. They've played very well, had a big impact, but maybe not quite making it into the world-class bracket. Did a job. They came in, they did their job. Nothing amazing, nothing bad, just did their job, was solid. Meh, we probably could have done without them, to be honest, but they were a good addition to the squad. Why is he there? Why was he in the squad? Did he out for anything? No, that's why he'd be there. Now, at the bottom, we have NA. For me, a lot of these players have not played much at all, so I don't think it's fair to be judging them all that much. Before we crack on with the tier list, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Over 80% of you currently watching this video right now are not subscribed. Let's see if we can change that. It's free to do. Hit the red button down below as we push towards 1,500 subs. There'll also be a link to this tier list in the description down below, so you can do it yourself if you want to, and feel free to tweet it to me as well. Right, let's crack on straight away with it. I do apologize about some of the heads that have been chopped off in this one. It's just the way that has been done, unfortunately, but I will let you know who they are and where they are going. So first up on the list, we have Josh Adams. Josh Adams, of course, the campaign did not start off great for him, did it, with that COVID breach. It was not great at all, but he's come in, he's done very well, scored some important tries against England and against France. But he's been overshadowed by another winger who we will come on to later on. I'm going to put Josh Adams in did a job. I think he did a job for us. I would question a lot about the COVID protocol. I don't really mind what you think about COVID and things like that, but the way that the team agreed to certain things, if you're not willing to agree to them, don't join the squad, in my opinion. But on the field, he did really, really well when he played. Took his try against England very well with Dan Biggar's cross kick, and then against France, obviously scored his try, but did a job in my opinion. Next up then is the Cardiff Blues utility back, that is Hallam Amos. Hallam Amos, of course, started after Josh Adams wasn't part of the squad for what we just spoke about. Again, nothing special from him. He's very much a utility player, and sometimes I can actually play against you as a person. The fact that you can cover so many positions, so do you truly specialize in one position? I'm going to put him in did a job. We didn't see all that much of him, more than we usually do. But again, yeah, not sure to be honest. He's going to be in did a job. Next up then is Jake Ball. He, of course, is heading to Australia at the end of the season to reunite with his family. Been away from his family for a long time, and I think a pandemic makes people think a lot more. Again, we didn't see all that much of him. Adam Beard seems to have got that number 4 jersey back, and that's really battled between him and Corey Hill, and I think Pivac is looking ahead to life without Jake Ball already. I'm going to put Jake Ball also in did a job. Don't worry, it will be mixed up in a bit. We'll get some different players in different positions, but Jake Ball in did a job. I think he was okay, if I'm being totally honest. Nothing special, nothing awful, just did a job for us, was very solid throughout. Let's move on to the next one then. That is Adam Beard. We just spoke about him there with Jake Ball, and I think he's probably just about won that battle to start at 4 for Wales. But was he truly great? Did he do anything amazing during the campaign? I'm trying to think. The line-out was very poor at the beginning, but that did solidify throughout the campaign. I'm also going to put him in did a job. He just did a job, didn't he? Nothing special, nothing ridiculous, just was solid throughout. Next up then, we got Dan Biggar, the first fly half on the list, and the third back, in the team. So Dan Biggar, for me, has got to go in great campaign. I think he's been fantastic this tournament. The way that he took his opportunities against England for the tries, yes, some controversy about that, but his quick-mindedness, being aware of what's around him, taking the opportunity. I think he's been fantastic defensively. Once again, puts his body on the line. His kicking's been very, very good. Once again, I think he has to be in great campaign. He's not quite in world class, but he's definitely in great campaign. He's the first one to go into great campaign. Let's move down the list then. So James Botham of Cardiff Blues is next on the list. He's come off the bench 2 or 3 times, if I'm correct in saying that. He had a brilliant break against Scotland, if I remember correctly on that. So he's had a decent moments when he's come on, but we just have not seen enough of him, if I'm being totally honest. So I'm going to put him in NA. I just don't think we've seen enough of him. I think he came on with about 5 minutes or less to go in all the games he came on. So yeah, James Botham goes into NA. Next up then is Leon Brown. I'm also going to put Leon Brown into NA. Once again, just not seen enough of him. Very good player. Lots of hype about him a few years ago, and we need to see that hype really come to fruition now. We really need to see that happening. But yeah, I'm going to put him in NA. Next up then is going to be a controversial one. It's going to be Foxy Jonathan Davis, the centre. Of course, struggled with injury a lot over the last year or so. Has had a very mixed campaign, in my opinion. Hasn't lit the tournament alight at all. And I think if I was him, maybe a little bit worried about whether he'll start for the Lions. I'm going to put him in Meh. I really didn't feel like he did that much this campaign. Sounds awful, but I just don't think that he did. So he's going to go in Meh. Next up then, we have Elliot D. The Dragon Tucker, of course. Again, the line-out came under a lot of scrutiny. He didn't start a game at all. They were all started by the captain, Ken Owens. Came off the bench again. I'm just going to put him in did a job. He was more involved than the likes of Leon Brown and Botham, but nothing special, nothing outrageous or nothing poor, really. So he's going to go into did a job. Next up then is Ryan Elias, straight into NA. We just simply didn't see enough of this guy during the campaign. I think he came off the bench once. We just did not see enough of him. So he's going into NA. As always, remember to let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on my selections. And if you want me to do this for your country as well, do let me know and I'll get that sorted. Right, so let's crack on. Talupe Faletau, straight into world class for me. Best number 8 in potentially the world, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere. We'll be battling for CJ Stander at 8. The way this guy has just bounced back from so many injuries has been fantastic. His work rate, the way he carries the ball off scrum looked very, very solid throughout the campaign. Faletau to me is world class anyway, and I think he's had a world class campaign. He's the first player to go into world class. Next up then is Thomas Francis. Thomas Francis, of course, has dropped to the bench. I think Wayne Pivac has pretty much settled on his front row. So Thomas Francis came off the bench, did okay, I guess. So I'm going to just put him in Meh. Nothing special, nothing bad. Didn't see all that much of him, did we? Obviously got us that red card in the first game against Ireland. So yeah, I'm just going to put him in Meh. He's joining the Ospreys in the summer, which is good as an Ospreys fan, but he's just going to be put in Meh for this one. Next up, I've got Willis Halaholo. The Cardiff Blues man, of course, was meant to make his debut quite a while back, but due to injury, he didn't make them. Willis Halaholo, for me, had a great campaign. Didn't play ridiculous amounts, but coming off the bench had massive impacts. And the way he had an impact against Scotland, came off against Ireland, came on against England, had a brilliant campaign, in my opinion. Would have loved to see him start against the Italians, but his confidence, the work rate at the breakdown as well, and his tackling, and obviously got that brilliant assist for Louis Rees-Zammit for the try against Scotland. Willis Halaholo, for me, had a great campaign, and it's a fantastic option for Wales to have for sure. Next up then is Kevin Hardy. Kevin Hardy, of course, unfortunately ruled out through injury after that England game, but had a fantastic match that day. Came off the bench against Scotland, played very, very well in that one, but we didn't see anything after that. So I'm struggling to put him into great campaign because we didn't see all that much of him. We saw him in 1.5 games. If we're being totally honest, 1.5 games we've seen him. I'm going to put him in did a job. If he'd have played more, if he hadn't got injured against England, he'd have played against Italy and France for sure. It's unfortunate that he's got injured, but he had a brilliant campaign. But I just don't think we quite saw enough of him. So I'm going to put him in did a job. We're absolutely flying through some of these players. Let's crack on then to the next one, which is Corey Hill. Corey Hill, of course, as I said, battling out with Adam Beard for that starting lock position for Wales alongside the next man on the list. And we all know where he's going to go. But yes, Corey Hill, for me, just does a job. Again, not outstanding, not over the top, not underwhelming in any sense, just does a job. He's a brilliant leader. He's captain, of course, for the Blues at the minute. and he's been integral to them securing Champions Cup rugby for next season. But just did a job for me. Just did a job. But I personally would pick Corey Chase over Adam Beard for the lock position for Wales. Let me know in the comments down below, who would you start alongside. The next man on our list, that is Alun Wyn Jones. I mean, he's just got to go into world class, hasn't he? I should have made another class called Build Him a Statue, because that's what I'm going to do when the guy retires. Absolutely brilliant. Had so many critics saying he's too old, he's not good enough, and he's absolutely smashed in. For me, he has to stop the Lions and he has to captain the Lions. Alun Wyn Jones, I have nothing else to say about him. He's just ridiculous. He's so good, and he's like a good wine, just gets better with age. So he's absolutely brilliant. Let's move on to the next one. Sticking with the forwards then, we have Wyn Jones of the Scarlets. Straight into great campaign. He has no head, but he's straight into great campaign. What a campaign this guy had. Very close to being in world class. Actually, do you know what? He's moving up to world class. I thought he was brilliant. He carried very well. The scrum looked really solid. He was very good at the breakdown. Got some important turnovers, threw some lovely offloads throughout the campaign. For me, he has to start at 1 for the Lions, and he goes into world class as well. The Scarlets man has really solidified himself as Wales' first choice in that position, hasn't he? For sure. So he is into that. Next up then, Josh Navidi. Straight into world class. I mean, I absolutely love this guy. I would love him down at the Ospreys. He's at the Blues, of course, but he's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. And again, his work at the breakdown, the work that you don't always see in game is what he does. You know, he does the little jobs that if you don't have him, you really miss him. I felt like we really missed him in that first game against Ireland when he wasn't fit for that one. Sorry, for Scotland when he wasn't fit for that one. And just the way he slows the ball down, he's a bit of a nuisance, and he carries hard and he tackles well. He's certainly got to be in the team for me. Next up on the list then, we go to the backs and we go to George North. Of course, got 100 caps for Wales in this campaign. Fantastic achievement for someone so young and someone who has struggled with concussions and injuries in the past. Played at centre. I think he did fairly well at centre. Don't think he was really challenged all that much, although against France was exploited a little bit, and a little bit against England as well as the game broke up. I personally think he's a winger. I wouldn't play him at centre. I think there are better candidates to play in that position. But again, the guy just did a job for us. Got an important try against Ireland to kick off our campaign on a winning front. Yeah, he goes into did a job. Next up then is the Sheriff, Ken Owens. Where are we going to put him? Ooh, where are we going to put Ken Owens? Struggled at the start, let's be honest, with the line-out especially. But after that, very much picked up his game. He's going in great campaign for me. Wow. The way this guy carries around the pitch, the scrum looked very solid this tournament for us. The line-out, as I said, was very shaky at the beginning, but that, to an extent, fixed itself by the end of the tournament. And to me, potentially, he starts for the Lions in that position. Let's move on to the next man. It is the replacement fly half. It is Callum Sheedy. Straight into great campaign for me. I mean, this guy would come off the bench and make such a difference straight away. And I'm full credit to Pivac on making those changes, on being comfortable with making them changes. Because a lot of people would not have been that brave in making them decisions too. So right, we're going to take Dan Bigg off, who's so experienced, for someone who's so inexperienced in Sheedy. And Sheedy came on and opened the game. He missed a couple of crucial kicks against Scotland, but made up for that with some crucial kicks against England. And for Bristol, he's been absolutely smashing. Of course, we're just focusing on Wales here, but he's playing at a high level with Bristol. They're likely to win the league, and obviously they'll be competing in Europe as well. But I'm going to put Sheedy in great campaign. Next man on the list then is Justin Tipuric. Mr. Tipuric, the number 7, again, has had a fantastic campaign for Wales. I would like to see him in a more attacking sense in the future under Pivac. And I think we will see that with Pivac. I think his style will begin to become that little bit more attacking game after game. We'll see that a little bit more. Of course, all the pressure was on him going into this tournament after a poor 2020. But Tipuric, once again, that back row for Wales have been phenomenal. Navidi, Tipuric and Faletau. Tipuric very close to getting into world class, but I'd like to see him a bit more involved in games. He's been very, very good. And next up is Aaron Wainwright. Again, just not seen enough of him this campaign. I think he played once. I think it was once he played for us this campaign. So we've just not seen enough from off the bench. He has to go into NA. And next up then is Owen Watkin of the Ospreys. Again, not seen all that much of him, if I'm being totally honest. It's a tough one to know where to put. Obviously got that fantastic tackle on Duhan van der Merwe, I believe it was, to ensure that we won the game. For me, he's been playing brilliantly for the Ospreys, played fantastic as Ospreys won away at Leinster recently. But again, we're focusing on Wales. I'm going to put him in did a job. I think that's fair for Owen Watkins. Next up is Johnny Williams, the Scarlet Centre. Again, got an injury. I think it was in the Ireland game that he got an injury. So I'm going to put him in NA. He played well in that game, but we've just not seen enough of him to really get a sense of where he's at for Wales right now. But he's always been good for the Scarlets, and hopefully we'll see more of him for Wales. Next up is Lloyd Williams. I'm going to put him in. Why is he there? I don't see what he offers to Wales at all. I personally would rather see someone like Webb, and that's not just as an Ospreys fan. The stats and the way Webb plays, I think, suits us a lot more. And I think there are more obvious candidates you could have looked at. People like Harry Randall was eligible for Wales, could have been called up, but also Rhys Webb was the big one for me. I just don't see what he offers for Wales, and yeah, I think unfortunately he has to drop into why is he there. Next up then is Liam Williams. Sorry, Liam Williams, of course. Man, discipline is an issue, isn't it? But going forward, offers so much. Scored, of course, a try against Scotland. I'm really struggling with Liam Williams. I'm going to put him in did a job. Did a job, just about. Was solid at fullback, but did nothing special, in my opinion. He did a job for us. We'll put him in did a job. Next up on the list then is Thomas Williams. Again, injured in that first game against Ireland. We've simply just not seen enough of the guy. I think he's brilliant. I think he's certainly our starting 9. He speeds the game up. He has an eye for a gap and for a pass as well. And he's certainly got to be starting for Wales, but we just simply have not seen enough of him. So it's very difficult to put him somewhere. And finally, the last person is this man. It's Louis Rees-Zammit. He's just got to go into world class, hasn't he? Scored the try of the tournament against Scotland. This guy plays without fear. He's playing in a very poor Gloucester side. We have to remember that. I think they're second bottom of the Premiership currently. They've got a very tough game against La Rochelle on Friday night, which we'll be doing a watch-along actually for. So make sure to subscribe for that. But the way this guy just takes his opportunity, scored some crucial tries against Scotland, against Ireland, scored against Italy as well. So he had a very, very good campaign. And for such a young guy to back himself the way he does, yes, defensively, there's some few things that he needs to work on, but I think he's been absolutely brilliant. So there we go. That's my tier list of the Wales squad for the Six Nations 2021. As always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, hit it down below, and obviously like the video and comment your thoughts down below. Don't forget, you can do this tier list yourself. There's a link in the description. I'll probably put one in the comments down below for you to do yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the love on the channel recently. It's great to have you join this fantastic rugby community that is building. Lots of videos coming up over the next videos with the Champions Cup. So I'll see you for them. Thanks for watching and peace.